Good evening. This is 15 Minutes. We are here at Rye Middle School to discuss an issue that you may not be aware of. Rye Middle School has had a strict dress code for many years until recently it was mysteriously changed. This 15 minutes will cover the effects and differences between the new and old Rye Middle School dress code. While some may say that the old dress code promoted formality and a focus on school, others claim that it was targeted towards young girls, making them feel uncomfortable and frustrated with the code's strict enforcement. Here to start is an exclusive interview with Dr. Ann Edwards, the principal of Rye Middle
Can you
School.
give us just a brief history of the dress code?
I don't remember exactly when it was passed, but it's a long time ago. And it was language such that your shorts or your skirt wasn't supposed to be more than 4 inches above your knee.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't supposed to have plunging neckline. You weren't supposed to advertise drugs or alcohol on your shirt. Straps weren't supposed to show. I think your midriff wasn't supposed to show. And that was passed by the Board of Education.
Okay.
So I was enforcing it. And then over the years, girls came to me and they said they didn't like the dress code and they were going to investigate. And I said, fine. And I always would say to kids, go to a board meeting, tell them you don't like it, I'm just enforcing what they tell me to. So then the girls said, we do like the dress code. And I was surprised. And they said, could you let it be 5 inches? And I said, I really can't tell the difference between 4 or 5 inches. It's when it's 7 inches, when it's really short, that I notice.
Mm-hmm.
Or a teacher will say to me, did you see so-and-so? So we were bebopping along. And then, it gets really hot here, and we don't have any air conditioning. And it was the short shorts. And then kids said, could we wear athletic shorts? And I said, yeah. And then they started rolling them up, and it started getting silly. And a parent, on behalf of her daughter, I think, she started petitioning and making a lot of noise about the dress code. And the superintendent who told me this isn't here any longer. He said, look the other way. Okay. Now, I can make fun of myself, too.
Yeah.
See my fashion police? And that's from I don't know, what do you think, the 30s, the 40s?
Probably.
And the guy's on the beach. I'm thinking it's Jones Beach because of the background. And he's measuring their skirts. So I bought that and put it up. And, if girls would say, well, I measured at home and it's 4 inches, I had a yardstick and I'd say, well, you measure that. An inch is an inch. Like, I don't believe in school uniforms. I wouldn't wear that.
Yeah.
And people thought I did, but no. But I'm a bit of a feminist, and we should be known for our intellect, our character, not necessarily for what we wear, but we don't want to look like slobs. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds contradictory or not.
Yeah, no.
But you're nodding, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
How do you think the dress code affected the girls' mindsets in academics?
I think the girls were angry with me, or there was a segment of girls really, really angry. I do believe, because I would overhear it sometimes, or moms of boys would tell me that they were pretty distracted. But now, that's on them.
How do you feel that, like, when you heard that the girls felt like, feel like sexualized or like self-conscious and targeted? How did that make you feel?
Well, I felt bad that was their interpretation. I really did. That I thought a lot about, well, how am I telling them? I mean, it did affect me because I don't want to hurt anybody's confidence or anybody's ego, and I don't want to. As I said, we make mistakes. I know that there are certain ways you can't dress as a professional in an office. And it's interesting because this will get me in trouble. Teaching is different. Teachers dress, I'm dressed very casually today. But if I worked in an office, I think it would be different. And we just have to know that.
Yeah.
If you could go back, would you change how you enforced it? And like for the future, is there anything that you want to do for the dress code?
Well, I didn't think I was being mean, but people thought I was, and for that I'm sorry. Like, we had Dress for Success pants, and if anything, I thought the girls liked them too much. you know, but then somebody said, well, you're humiliating them. That wasn't my intention. I know of some places where they take ugly clothes and make kids wear them. So, I don't know. Should I have ignored it? Because, you know, I report to people too. And the man that I was reporting to wanted me to enforce it. Could I have been kinder? Well, I guess, because if the impression is that I was mean, you know, perception is reality, perception is everything, and I certainly didn't mean to be. And what I have to keep reminding myself is middle school kids are extremely sensitive.
What was your experience with the middle school dress code?
Well, for boys, it's not really that big of a deal. So,
Okay. So the dress code like kind of changed while you guys were in school. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, she said she was like, there was a dress code that she was just making up, but she wouldn't.
So I guess sort of.
It's like her superintendent
Yeah.
was telling her that.
So like, did you see any like difference between like how it was enforced before to like how it's enforced now?
like, I haven't seen any difference. Like, I didn't
Doctor
know
that
that.
you should stand outside of her office and just yell at her.
Well, I don't know.
Do you know any like maybe like girls who are affected by it?
Well, girls in 8th grade normally wear yoga pants anyways.
But like in the summer and stuff when they were wearing like shorts and like dresses, did it change with the impulse?
Not really. No.
So you guys have never been impacted by the dress code, or?
As long as you wear a shirt.
No like hoods or hats. So I know that's a thing. I don't think you're allowed to wear hats or like have your hood up.
Oh yeah.
Well, like, ever since I've been here, like, when I came to in the 6th grade, like, I don't, except for one day that Diego wore a hat, which is, I've never seen it.
And you've never seen like a girl had to like change clothes or anything?
I've seen girls being said that the skirt was too short.
Yeah.
Do you think that like when you're learning and everything, do you think it affects how you learn?
Like to me it's distracting. Like
Does it distract you with like girls wearing shorts and stuff? Okay. Good to know.
okay, that's it. Well, thank
Alright,
you guys.
thank you.
Wow, I just applaud them. We are now going to interview an 8th grade girl.
What was your experience with the middle school dress code?
It was like I wasn't really allowed to wear shorts and spaghetti straps, but then after 7th grade, I kind of started breaking the rules and everyone started wearing stuff like that, and no one really enforced it.
Can you talk about the way in which the dress code was previously enforced and the way it's enforced now? Like what if you used to be like told off or anything and how that's changed?
In the beginning, like we couldn't like wear any shorts like in PE and stuff. Then like the principal said like we could wear like Nike shorts, like active shorts and stuff, but not like jeans, like jean shorts. But now like I don't even know if it's
So she doesn't like say anything to you?
yeah. I know.
And have you been impacted by the dress code?
Not really, yeah, I just went around it.
Do you think that the dress code kind of changed the way you learn? Like, did it distract you with having to constantly make sure that you're wearing the right thing?
A little, yeah, but I don't think that it was right to enforce it in middle school because I don't think the boys would be so obsessed of like the short shorts and the spaghetti straps and stuff like that.
Do you think the reasoning that they had, like, that it was because, you know, it would distract boys, do you think that was wrong?
Slightly,
Yeah, because I don't think they would.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Do you have any shorts that are 3-finger length above the knee?
I don't think so.
Do you have athletic shorts?
Yeah.
Hey, I really like these shorts. No way could you wear this to school. You would get kicked out before you know it.
You're right. What about these ones?
I feel like they're not that fashionable. I don't know what I could wear.
You won't
I
get
don't
dress
know.
coded.
That's true. I guess with the school with this kind of dress code, it's hard to look cute. and be comfortable. So I guess we'll have to settle for following the rules. Thanks for your help.
Kohl's has a wide selection of athletic shorts in various patterns and colors that satisfy your dress code. Be comfortable, be chic, follow the rules, and come to Kohl's today.
What was your experience with the middle school dress code?
Oh,
I was never dress coded, so
yeah, I was never dress coded either. I mean, I don't think it's like too strict or anything. It's not too
Okay.
bad.
Did it affect you academically? Like seeing with like obviously you guys didn't get dress coded, but like
Yeah, I got super distracted all the time.
with like other people like being pulled out and like having to change to distract you or affect you.
It didn't really distract me or anything.
I didn't really witness people getting in trouble a lot. I heard about it like a few times, but that's it.
Also, like, I don't know, people just dressing, like, it's not really much of a distraction unless someone's wearing, like, a big, bright, like, FU t-shirt or whatever. It's not.
What were your implications of the dress code?
I don't really know what it was, to be honest. Pretty sure it was like, don't wear things with profanity on it, or
Yeah.
too short, or revealing.
Okay,
Sounds good.
what do you believe the school's role is in enforcing the dress code?
You know, like,
Something
if it's like really inappropriate, then I guess it makes sense. But other than that, like, if people are not like literally doing something wrong, like, it shouldn't really matter.
What do you think an appropriate dress code is?
Just like,
It's something that doesn't annoy the people around you.
Do you think any like specific people would talk to groups of people? Like girls?
Yeah, it was only girls.
yeah,
Like,
it was like,
it never
people
happened
didn't
to
really care
guys.
about guys, like, except for, like, once I remember, like, a kid wore, like, a beard t-shirt in, and he got pulled, and they were like, you need to take that off. But other than that, like, it was mostly just girls who were.
Yeah, it was really sexist.
What was your experience with the middle school dress code?
Well, in middle in middle school, I always really hated the dress code, partially because of like personal fashion choices, and also because it was like really hot a lot of the time in the summer in the middle school. So I just really didn't agree with it, and I thought that it was sexist to have limitations on what girls can wear when there really weren't any on boys. So yeah, I broke the dress code all the time and got dress coded a good amount.
Right, so did it affect you academically and or emotionally? It sounds like it is.
Academically, I got pulled out of class, I think, a couple times, and so yeah, that was like interrupting my education for something as unimportant as clothes. And like emotionally, it didn't really affect me. I don't think so, because like I just kind of like disregarded it. But I think for a lot of other girls, like seeing that putting like boys' ability to focus on their education over girls like would definitely have an emotional effect.
Right, okay, so going along with that, what do you think the implications of the dress code are?
I think it has some pretty sexist implications that like boys being distracted by girls' clothes and like boys not being able to help themselves from being distracted is sexist to boys, because it's like implying that they're like animals and can't control their impulses, and also to girls it's like saying that like you control the way that boys feel about you and things like that, and that gets kind of like scary when we start talking about like rape culture and how a lot of times boys are taught that like if girls are wearing a certain thing it can excuse their actions. So I don't think that's good.
Okay, great. So last couple questions. What do you believe the school's role is in enforcing the dress code, and if so, what would an appropriate dress code be?
I think that an appropriate dress code would have to have like limitations on both boys and girls, and I think that the high school does a decent job of it, where they have like boys aren't supposed to wear things with like, or anyone isn't supposed to wear things with like alcohol or like tobacco references on their shirts and stuff, and that makes sense to like give some sort of limit to what boys can wear. And I also think that like within reason, I don't know, it's hard to say because like it is important to look like professional, but also like
Be able to express yourself?
It's yeah, and it's hard to say like where you draw the line of what's like professional and appropriate. But I think that schools like especially a school without air conditioning and a decent amount of it, like our school. I think it's pretty unreasonable to say that girls should wear like really long shorts and things like that.
What do you think an appropriate dress code is? What do you believe a school's role in a dress code should be? It is a hard issue because it is difficult to find the boundary between telling kids what is appropriate to wear and teaching kids the wrong lesson. We have discovered that middle school students are much happier with the new dress code than the harsh previous dress code. RI is only one example of schools that have conflicts with their dress code, but it highlights a larger, widespread issue. Globally, we hope these conflicts can be further investigated.